Hello everyone, find me in LA here. Today in this video we're going to be discussing tickets and the second ever announcement made for Halloween Horror Nights 2023, which is The Last of Us. So let's talk about that first. Last of Us. It has been confirmed that it will appear in both Hollywood and Orlando as a haunted house, and it will only be based on the video game and not the show on HBO, which honestly took me by surprise because I thought they were going to ride on the success of the show. You know, it was the big hot topic earlier this year, but I guess the game itself is successful enough to warrant its own Horror Nights house. But yeah, I haven't played the game nor have I seen the show, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of homework to experience the house. But hey, at least the hype train is finally starting to get going. Now that announcement season is finally in full swing. Now that all that's out of the way, I want to talk to you guys about something that I've been itching to talk about since this morning's announcement. Tickets. As of June 15th, tickets for Halloween Horror Nights are now on sale. And for the most part, all ticket options remain mostly the same from previous years. So let's go over all of them, shall we? So first things first, you have your general admission ticket starting from $74, and the most expensive ticket option, which is in the last couple Saturdays in October, is up to $109. Next up is Universal Express, which gives you only one-time access to the express lines for each attraction available during Halloween Horror Nights, which include rides and mazes. And the price for this ticket ranges from $209 to $309. And then of course there's Express Unlimited, which the name of the ticket suggests is unlimited access to the express lines. And the price for this can go as low as $249 and as high as $349. And then we have the after 2 p.m. day and night combo. This can allow you to enter the park after 2 p.m. as the name implies and enjoy the park during daytime hours, and then later on enjoy the park again during Halloween Horror Nights hours. But here's something really interesting about the day and night combo this year. So the average Horror Nights guest cannot be able to access Nintendo World, but if you purchase the after 2 p.m. day and night ticket, you can be able to access Nintendo World, not only during the daytime, but during Halloween Horror Nights as well, from 7 to 10 I believe. So if you're planning to go to Horror Nights this year and haven't done Super Nintendo World yet, there's a great opportunity to do so. Prices for day and night start from $149, and for Express, they start from $329. And then of course you have your fanciest ticket option, the RIP tour, which start from $379. And this includes a buffet, a guided VIP tour, and unlimited access to Express. And last but certainly not least, we have the frequent fear passes. This allows you to visit HHN for multiple nights, up to 30 nights for the regular one, and 38 nights for the Ultimate Fear Pass. This year, Frequent Fear only costs $209, and Ultimate Fear costs $329. Now, this is the ticket that I get, me personally, because I get the most bang on my buck for this one, especially if I go multiple nights. Think about it, an average night at Horror Nights with general admission costs about $80, $90, almost $100. But if I pay $210 for a whole pass where I can go up to 30 nights, it would be as if I spent like $10 to go a night or $8 to go a night, depending on how many nights I go. But let me tell y'all about something related to the tickets, and it's honestly quite ridiculous. For those of you that don't know, for the past several years, Horror Nights has always implemented a system to avoid bad crowds and super long lines. It's called early entry. So the park opens up at 7 o'clock for Horror Nights, so a lot of people line up to see the opening ceremony and then they run to the nearest maze and then lines are already jam-packed. But for early entry, you could be able to line up at the front gates as early as 4 o'clock. And around 4:30, they open the gates. And as early as 5:30, you can be able to experience select mazes. It was like this neat tip and trick to avoid the 7 o'clock crowds. It was super convenient for people who wanted to do as many mazes as possible in one night. But for this year, they're actually charging people for early entry. Listen to what I just said, ladies and gentlemen. For this year, they are now charging people $10 for early access on top of the general admission you get from your ticket. That is ridiculous. Now you guys are probably thinking, oh, it's only $10, for early entry. That's not that big of a deal. I can easily pay $10. Think about this for a second. A lot of people are going to pay $10 for early entry, yeah, but then Universal is going to see that so many people paid for the early entry access, so they're going to try to raise up the price for next year. It's going to be $20 or maybe even $25, maybe even $30. And that's really bad. Paying around $30 just to do select mazes a couple hours earlier, that's not okay. When just not that long ago, We did that for free. And on top of that, you're going to have certain people that are going to refuse to pay for the $10 for early entry. So now they're forced to come around at 7 o'clock and watch the opening ceremony while the quote unquote Genie Plus people are already waiting in line for select mazes. And that's kind of not fair. And I know some of y'all will probably argue, oh, less people during early entry? Early entry should be more of a breeze compared to the previous years. Yeah, but then that means after 7 p.m., crowds are going to be even more insufferable compared to the previous years. And if you thought all that was bad, I can't even imagine how people with frequent fear passes are going to take this. I'm going to do a breakdown that's going to be really confusing and hard to explain, but I'm going to try my best to articulate it as much as possible. Now, say you're like a hardcore Halloween Horror Nights fan and you need to go as many nights as possible. You want to go every single night. So you decide to buy the Ultimate Fear Pass, which is $329. Now, that's about like roughly $8.50 a night, right? But again, you're a hardcore Horror Nights fan and you want to do early entry, so you want to get as much done as possible in one night. So you pay the extra $10 and you end up paying, like around $18. But if you're willing to go to Horror Nights for every single night, and if you're willing to pay early entry every single night, that means you will have to pay $10 38 times because there's 38 nights this year for Horror Nights. That's $380. That's more than your actual Ultimate Fear Pass. But if you include that on top of your Ultimate Fear Pass, you just spent $709.08. And that's excluding all the food and all the merchandise that you're going to buy during the event's run. That is insane. That means you just got scammed. You just got scammed, bro. Scammed! But yeah, no. This is not good. I do not like this one bit. I don't know why they did this, but they did it. And we just have to accept that fact, sadly. So now for those of you that are watching, you're probably asking yourself, what ticket should I buy? Which ticket is right for me if I want to enjoy Horror Nights? Well, honestly, I actually have two different answers, and it really all depends on the kind of Horror Nights guest that you are. If you live in Southern California, if you're like a local there, or even if you just have a pass for Universal Studios in general, then I highly recommend getting the Frequent Fear Pass. And if you feel like you need to do early entry, I do suggest buying the $10 upcharge only once, an opening night. Just to try to get as much done at that opening night as possible. But say you don't get everything done in time, and you miss a maze or two, well, that's where one of the many beauties of Frequent Fear comes into play. You can always come back at another night and do some of the mazes that you missed. And if you really, really enjoyed the event and you really enjoyed all the mazes, you can always come back and do some of your favorite ones and just have fun all over again. But say you're not a local, and say you live in like Florida or something, and you've always done the Orlando Horror Nights and you wanted to check out the Hollywood event. Well, I suggest getting Universal Express. But there's a certain strategy that you guys have to do. Once the first couple mazes start to open up, you wait in the regular line for those, because most likely lines aren't going to be all that terrible. But the crowds are going to start to roll in during the middle of the night, and lines are going to get a lot more busier around that time. That's when you use Express. And that way, you could be able to do a lot of the mazes more than once. But yeah, those are your two answers to sum it up. If you're local, Frequent Fear. If you're not a local, Universal Express. That's just what I personally recommend. If you want to see all the ticket options and all the details, just go ahead to the website and see for yourself. If you guys stuck around to the very end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping to give you guys a lot more videos now that announcement season is upon us. So if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you like what you saw, go ahead and click the like button. Also, let me know what you guys think about the whole $10 early access thing down in the comments. I'm really curious to see other people's opinions about it. I really want to know if anybody else feels the same way that I do, or if I'm just like an old man yelling at a cloud. But either way, thank you guys for putting up with my complaining in this video. I really appreciate it. But yeah, until then, see you all in the fog.